Now to the issue that got the team kicked out of the NAL, Gunnera says Antonio owed a little more than $20,000.
So you know me, that's all I need to hear. Like, yo, you gonna throw me the ball? You don't want to throw me the ball, and then you making me like I'm crazy. So it's like, I'm crazy?
Today is a very special day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a day where I have two separate pieces of Antonio Brown news that I get to combine in one video, which thank goodness, because, well, less work for my editing team. You guys can get your entire Antonio Brown scoop in just one full video. It combines two sagas that we have been following very, very closely. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, work! The NFL and NBA season are officially over, and I need something to hold me over until at least the NFL season comes back. So I've been playing prize picks for the WNBA and the MLB, and I've been fairly successful. It's a good way to get some extra action on games that I wouldn't really watch otherwise. I post my picks onto my Instagram story daily, and I've been hitting on a decent amount of them. And right now, when you use my promo code Mikerophone, they'll double your deposit up to $100. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? We have been following the Antonio Brown NAL case very, very closely. But this video doesn't 100% have to do with the Antonio Brown NAL case. We have stuff on Antonio Brown's NAL situation as one of the wildest ownership experiences I think I have ever seen since the Danbury Trashers. Because for those of you guys that have not been following along with Antonio Brown's hostile takeover of the Albany Empire, I mean his purchase of the Albany Empire, the story just got way crazier. It started with a very wholesome story about how Antonio Brown is going to purchase the Albany Empire as some sort of homage to the fact that his father played arena football, which influenced Antonio Brown to be one of the greatest wide receivers of our generation. And it ended with, well, this interview.
A lot of naysayers around here, I've been seeing a lot of players chip chat about me. You think I care what the NAL players say about me? I'm giving these guys jobs. I'm giving people careers. I'm giving people an opportunity to live out their dreams.
This story had it all, and the best way we could explain it is Antonio Brown pretty much purchased this team and then eventually got into disputes with the team's star quarterback, Sam Castronova, and the team's head coach, Damon Ware. It resulted in players being locked out of their hotel rooms and not being able to access their luggage, Damon Ware and Sam Castronova leaving their team and restarting their careers elsewhere. Bear in mind, the Albany Empire is like one of the top teams in the National Arena League. Continued with Antonio Brown saying that he'll play for his Arena Football League team and said Cam Newton would love to join him. And then recently we discussed how since Antonio Brown failed to make his May 15th assessment payment before the Empire's game in Orlando, the league was notified that the league officially kicked out the Albany Empire of the National Arena League, which makes this interview all the more funnier because Antonio Brown straight up said,
"We're taking our football team and we're going to a different league."
Don't let the minutia of people distract us. This is the last year in the NAL. Next year we going to the AFL. A lot of owners around here got this type of money to even be in this league, so let's get that clear.
And that's where we left off on the story of Antonio Brown. And since then, it seems like Antonio Brown is being sued by his former Arena League players and coaches after he pulled money from their bank accounts. This is insane, man. I have to appreciate how creative Antonio Brown is getting in causing a complete ruckus and being a menace to society. Before Antonio Brown got the Albany Empire kicked out of the National Arena League, he paid his players and coaches for their last game on June 15th. Empire head coach Mo Leggett said team members were paid last Thursday and Friday for the Orlando game, but a member of their group chat on Wednesday night posted a screenshot of the bank account reversal. When Leggett checked his account the next morning, his paycheck had also been deducted. Now members of the Arena football team are planning a class action lawsuit against Antonio Brown. I have to admit, this is very creative. I never thought it would get to this level, but you quite literally have an entire Arena football team or ex-Arena football team declare war on Antonio Brown. Now, the reason I originally wanted to make this video isn't to recap Antonio Brown's comical endeavor as the owner of a national National Arena League team or an ex-National Arena League team. Rather, it's more about this incredible podcast clip that he had with Tyreek Hill. Now, for those of you guys that don't remember, a little bit over a year ago, Antonio Brown played his final snap for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he famously took off his jersey and stormed off of the field, chucked up the deuces, and said later. He would then post a tweet saying "Super Gremlin," and the only thing we heard about this scenario was Tom Brady saying this.
I don't think this is really the week to discuss it though, so I'm just gonna do the best I can do as quarterback of the team and try to put together a great week, finish strong.
Followed by Antonio Brown doing like a world tour slandering Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's my friend. Why? Because I'm a good football player.
Which ultimately resulted in Antonio Brown not getting a job in the NFL ever again. I mean, at this point, Antonio Brown's reputation in the NFL is terrible, but obviously players respect Antonio Brown for what he was able to achieve. But at this point, his track record is set. He burned his bridges with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. He burned his bridges with the Las Vegas Raiders when he was there. Then he briefly went to the New England Patriots, and Bill Belichick decided after a week he's not touching Antonio Brown with a 10-foot pole. And then once Tom Brady won him a Super Bowl, Antonio Brown acted out once again, and everyone just decided we're not going to mess with AB anymore. There were questions about why Antonio Brown stormed off the field. Antonio Brown claimed that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted him to play hurt, whereas the Tampa Bay Buccaneers claimed that Antonio Brown was upset about the lack of targets he received, which is very interesting considering the fact that Antonio Brown got a decent amount of targets during his final game in the NFL. And it's something that isn't really discussed as much as it should be. During AB's final 3 games on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he averaged 13 targets versus the Philadelphia Eagles, 15 targets versus the Carolina Panthers, and then 5 versus the New York Jets. Bear in mind, that game wasn't even close to over. AB left with 3 minutes left to go in the third. So was it a below average target game for Antonio Brown? Maybe. But the reason why this clip is so significant is I think we're getting the full story for the very, very first time. And a huge credit to Tyreek Hill's podcast, because this podcast has been giving us gem after gem after gem over the past year. So check it out.
We about to play the Jets, and this week I'm really hurt. So I'm taking pictures to the coach, Coach, man, are we gonna win the Super Bowl, man? I think I need to just take these last 2 weeks, at least recover up so I could give you my best when we to the time that mean the most. So we here to win the Super Bowl. So the coach hey man, we ain't resting.
So the clip opens up with Antonio Brown telling Bruce Arians,
Yo, coach, I really want to rest up for the final couple of weeks so I can make sure that I am fresh for the playoffs.
Which, by the way, seems to be consistent with his story so far. But wait, it gets crazier.
So Tom called me yo, this week, man, the Jets, man, they sweet, man. I'm gonna hit you with 10 to 12. So he done gassed me up. So me, that's all I needed to hear. Yo, you gonna throw me the ball? This me saying I got a new crib. On me. You know what I'm saying? It's
playing the Antonio Brown translator over here. Tom Brady pretty much gassed up AB, saying,
Yo, AB, I know you're injured, but if you play this week, I'm gonna make you look really good and make sure you're targeted as much as possible, and you're gonna have a good game.
I'm already really fucked up, so I'm but as a player, if you fucked up and your team around you supporting you, you might suck it up for the team.
Oh, yeah, you gonna suck it up for the
game. So it's yo, Tom Brady done hit me up yo, this is a big week, so I know my but it's yo, if you gonna like that, why not?
So to translate, Antonio Brown had reservations about playing injured, but he wanted to suck it up so he could be available for his team and so he could be a good teammate. And especially considering the fact that Tom Brady told him that he's going to have a really good game if he does play, AB decided to suck it up and play.
You know what I'm saying? So I done dressed up, suited up, I done got there. I already know they been faking me the whole time I was suspended. I just went for 100 yards and they guys was hurt. So I know they just trying to make it seem man, they just keep them going for what we could get out of them. So I already know they treated me
that's the plan.
At this point, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Antonio Brown is implying that he feels like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said, hey, let's just try to get as much production and as much value out of Antonio Brown as humanly possible, despite him being injured.
These guys actually charging me to work with me, and it's the team actually paid this guy to work with the players. So I'm paying him on top of the payment from this, and he's not even going out his way. Then before the game, Tom, my guy, one of the mutual friends with me and Tom, yo, go see him before the game, man. He's gonna work with you. You know how you was before the game, bro. You ain't really trying to even give nobody your energy.
I ain't trying to do nothing.
Imagine. So now I'm going to work with him. He's just hugging me like he can't.
Yeah.
This guy on my body with bad energy, he don't want to help me. What the f? You hugging me for, bro?
On me.
So my initial guess is AB is talking about Alex Guerrero here, but I could be 100% wrong.
So now I come playing the game, I'm hurt, like I'm in my zone, I'm super hurt. And it's like, yo, I might hurt myself more. And they not really trying to put me in a good position. Like, I'm not out here to hurt myself. I'm out here to help you guys win. I mean, getting the ball, help you move the chains, get in the zone. So right now, we at a different time right now. You guys not trying to see none of that. You guys is mixing me with, like, he don't want to work with me, I'm paying him. You don't want to throw me the ball, and then you making me like I'm crazy. So it's like, I'm crazy? Fuck all you motherfuckers.
So ultimately, AB is saying that he decided to suck it up and to play, and despite him sucking it up and playing, he never got the ball. So when he didn't get the ball, he went up to his teammates and said,
Yo, what the hell? I'm playing injured and no one's getting me the ball.
and then they made it seem like he was crazy. And then the moment they made Antonio Brown look like he was crazy, he decided to chuck up the deuces and leave. To be honest, man, it's a cool little commentary from Antonio Brown that I guess makes a little bit more sense than what we thought before. I mean, if you really could translate it, it does. It does tie together both sides. Bruce Arians and Tom Brady saying that Antonio Brown wanted the ball more. AB complaining about the Buccaneers wanting him to play hurt. So from that standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, man, this does nothing for him. Regardless, even though you do have these types of disputes, especially when you don't have leverage anymore, Antonio Brown was on his last chance on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What you should do in that instance is swallow your pride and just move forward and just work out whatever issues you have in the locker room. I'm not saying what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did was right, but I am saying that Antonio Brown shouldn't have done what he did. If you have issues with your teammates, you should do it behind closed doors. And you might be thinking,
Well, Mike, that's kind of ridiculous. You just wanted to be his team's puppet and not stand up for himself?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't make a public spectacle of it, because now other teams are gonna think you're a diva and you're gonna end up out of the league way earlier than you should be. I honestly think Antonio Brown could have had a Jerry Rice-like career. You could call me crazy. I think he was still showing that he's still a very, very talented wide receiver. He was just getting in his own way too much. I think he could have played until the age of 38 or 39. I genuinely believe that. And it's unfortunate that this is what his career turned out to be. Instead of him dressing up for a Super Bowl contender or dazzling us with his incredible route running, we just watch him try to gain any relevance he can possible by either sabotaging arena league teams, performing at concerts, or slandering his ex-teammates on podcasts. Regardless, I think this is his most insightful take on the situation, once you could translate it, of course. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.